Yeah, it's really an engagement question. It's like, do people continue to talk about these things and stay engaged about them? How does so obviously your project and coin are pretty heavily tied to politics and just kind of America, obviously being called 1776. So how do let's dive into that a little bit. How did it come about? What was the original idea, and what's kind of what's happening with it today?
Yeah, so it's a bunch of us who were involved in another project where the dev was doing some shady stuff. The dev basically disappeared after farming everybody. And we decided, let's launch something, let's do it the right way, let's be the good guys. Because that's always been something that's important to me. And I thought that the 1776 narrative of free speech, private ownership of property, just truth in general, and being able to think freely is something that's global. I've got some friends that live in the UK, and several of them are actually on my team. And we were having a conversation, I remember, in voice chat. And this is one of the ways that shout out to Michael. I see he's here. Michael's the guy I was talking about who runs another Politify project that I think could do well. Everyone give him a follow. He's got some good alpha too. So anyway, we're having this conversation in voice chat, and the one of the English people who I'm friends with, who's again a team member, was talking about how in England at that very moment, people were they had a influx of illegal immigrants, and those illegal immigrants at a higher proportion than normal would sexually assault women and children. And so as they were doing this, they were getting like 2 months. I mean, absolutely crazy low sentences for sexually assaulting women and children. But then the English people, if they went on Facebook to say, hey, it is wrong to abuse women and children sexually, and it's happening because of illegal immigrants, they would get thrown in jail for like 2 years for, I forget what they called it. I think it was like inciting hate speech or something, because this criminal happened to be an illegal immigrant but came over to England and raped a child. Those people are being thrown in jail for posting that on Facebook for longer than the immigrants are getting for raping the children. And so I'm like, dude, this can't be true. And I looked it up. I found some places where the Prime Minister of the UK and some of the higher ranking police officials were talking about exactly what this guy said. I'm like, wow, this is insane. Free speech is under attack across the world. So that's how 1776 came to be, because it's something where free speech has been under attack for a long time. I mean, you've heard about censorship in the news, censorship on social media, all that stuff. And it's a global problem. It's not just an American problem. Yes, we have an American themed token. However, it is a global talking point that people want to maintain their individual freedoms. And there is a very strong movement by some of the world's governmental leaders and big tech leaders and big corporation leaders to suppress that free speech. I mean, you guys saw what happened during COVID. People were ridiculed and locked up for speaking out against whatever the government and the media wanted you to think. And so I think that free speech meta is something that isn't going anywhere. So anyway, we launched our token on July 4th. Obviously, 1776 was a good name for those who don't know or maybe from another country. July 4th, 2024 was the 248th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence against England, where the United States became this brand new country. And the reason we did that was because they had an overarching government that was trying to overtax us, that was not representing the people of America, and basically was doing some stuff that is anti-freedom. So we launched the token based on the freedom meta. And we had a really good start. I definitely made some mistakes, and we learned a lot. We ran up pretty quickly to a $3 million market cap. We spent some money on some of the wrong callers for sure. We had some team members who sold irresponsibly and wrecked the chart a little bit. We retraced down to 50K. And since then have been working and grinding. I think we're back up to about 120 right now. And we're going to get it back to that 3 million plus mark. I'm confident of that because I think that the narrative is something that will really resonate with all these people coming into the crypto space. We have a merch store on the way where we're going to sell, American branded apparel with the 1776 logo all over it. And that the proceeds from that are going to go back into the marketing wallet. And then we've also got a podcast. So we've done a couple episodes of the podcast so far. One is all about how to safely get into crypto for normies. The second one was actually very entertaining. We talked about government overreach and some of the stuff the government does that is anti-freedom. And we had Joe Exotic, the guy you will remember from Tiger King fame on Netflix, who was our guest on that podcast. So we're going to continue to crank out that kind of content. Again, look for the merch store coming soon, and we're going to keep working. This is something that it's a passion project for me. Like, I don't care if I had never make $1 on it. It's something that I believe that the narrative and the message are far too strong to let it die.